What's going on, guys? The Army Trucker here. So I ended the last vlog / audio file with just rambling about the VA and my PTSD diagnosis and being 70% disabled, and how because of PTSD pretty much everything in my life is changed. So from that, I'll say this. I'm a disabled veteran according to the VA. I have a 70% diagnosis for PTSD, and I'm a 70% disabled veteran. After I found out that I had PTSD and officially got diagnosed through the VA, the psychiatrist that I was seeing at the time urged me heavily to file and get it service connected. And I drug my feet on it for years. It took me 2 years to file for it. Just again, that's part of dealing with PTSD. You don't really get in a hurry to do anything, being forgetful, not wanting to go deal with people. And then finally I did. I got help through a VSO, county VSO, which in the state of Florida, every county has a VSO that's paid for by the county and probably by somewhat the VA. But these are American Legion people that are hired through the American Legion that work for each county, and there's a VSO there. And if you're a veteran and you want to file some shit and try to get shit service connected, they're your best fucking friend and they're free. So check those guys out. But anyway, off on that side note, VSO helped me file. It was very simple. I went. This is horrible. I went in 2015 to the VSO. Again, after I got my diagnosis in 2014, I didn't go to the VSO the first time until 2015. 2015, I got a list of everything that I needed to file for PTSD. A year later, after I got everything together, which it did not take me a year, that was just me dragging my feet and having PTSD and not getting shit done, I filed for it. So I finally filed in 2016. Literally, I was over a year later. Which I smile as I say that, but it's horrendous. And it took my wife and again the therapist that I was seeing at the time to push me to do that. Even after I knew I had PTSD and I was diagnosed with PTSD, and I had everything that they needed to file, all the documentation, all fucking letters, and just all this shit. They filed for me, and it took about 6 months. Kudos to the VA. That may be too long for some, but if you filed in 2012, 2011, 2010 as a veteran, and you waited 2 years for your settlement there, if they're getting anything service connected, those guys got fucked. But they took care of me pretty quick. Service connected. On the day that my daughter was born, I had my CMP exam. And for those who don't know, a CMP exam is when you, after you file for a service connection disability, and they go through their entire rigmarole of paperwork and the things that they need to do to make it happen, they give you a CMP exam. They basically send you to a private contractor in whatever specialty, they're supposed to be from whatever specialty, for whatever ailment you're filing for. So in my case, it was a counselor or a psychiatrist or whatever this cat was. And I waited, I think, a month out for the exam. And once you have the exam, you have to go to the exam, or you have to start your process over again and refiling. So another 6 months in my case. So it was no shit. My wife was in the hospital in labor. Bless her heart, she was in labor for almost a week. That was a fun story, a fun time for another day. And I had this exam. I left the hospital and drove an hour and a half, 2 hours to my CMP exam, and then drove back. And the next day we had the kid. So it ended up working out. And again, I guess the psychiatrist felt that I checked all the blocks for 70%, which was a major surprise for me. I went in trying to tell them everything, and when I got out of the exam, I didn't feel like I had expressed everything that I was dealing with PTSD. Not even close. He has questionnaire that he has to ask me, and I guess he went through his thing, and that was kind of it. You know, he's only getting paid so much to do this. But I didn't feel after the exam ended that I went through everything that I wanted to go through and had voiced everything that I wanted to voice, even outside of the letter that I wrote when I filed for PTSD. You know, there was even more stuff that was going on outside of that I forgot to include because, again, I have PTSD and I'm fucking forgetful. So it's part of it. But I was blessed with 70%. And yeah, I mean, it's something that's changed my entire life, my entire way of being, and everything that I do and how I tackle life on the day-to-day. I'm sure it wouldn't take much more for me to get 100%, you know, just dealing with the disassociation and the delusions that I deal with on the day-to-day basis. So yeah, but that ends this. That was just a story of PTSD and dealing with the VA, and a quick overview of that, and how I got 70%, and now I'm a disabled veteran. So there's that. Thank you for listening to my ramblings once again. The Army Trucker, out.